Hello, and welcome to episode 38 of the Casual Try Hard podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm James.
And this week we're going to talk about the last 2 weeks of events in our lives.
Yeah, we had a busy week at Atlanta and then came back and all the spoilers were done and we had to do our set review video and then we had pre-release and here we are.
Yeah, we survived. As usual, James has in the show notes, we're begging you for feedback. So you can get at us at Casual Tripod on Twitter. There's been a few people that have when there's been a tweet that someone's put up, what's your favorite content? Mm-hmm. We show up in tweets with some other people.
Sweet.
As well. So that happened today.
Nice.
So I think that was Steve. So yeah, if you like us and you want to throw us in, add us on one of those
absolutely.
Hey, this is who I listen to things.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
So
please keep it up.
Mm-hmm. You can also find us at Casual Tryhard MTG on Facebook. Email us at show@casualtryhardmtg.com or find us on our YouTube channel, Casual Tryhard MTG. And we're working on maybe getting some gameplay videos going. No promises on how quick they're going to be. But
yeah, we're gonna try to figure out all the ins and outs of it.
Yeah.
I have a rough idea how to do it.
Yeah, I had a couple people ask over pre-release weekend if we were gonna had any plans for any gameplay content.
Yeah, so we could do the idea is for us to direct challenge each other with the archaic system that Wizards uses, and then basically you could be able to see one side of the matchup. Mm-hmm. And then, partway through, we'd just, switch. Yeah. So you could see the other side, maybe, one, best of three on one side, and then switch so you could see how both sides play out.
Yep.
And we could play, whatever the standard decks are, or we could try, not Commander, Brawl should be on Arena this coming Thursday, I think.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually kind of excited for that, so.
Yeah, it'll be something other than grinding the ladder, which would be nice.
Yeah.
Because I haven't played a ladder match in forever.
I haven't, not since the Standard 2020 event started.
Yeah, I was yep, we're going to do this.
Yep.
This is low stress.
Yep. Fine with me.
So, sorry for the late episode. We did the video episode, and then there were some issues in editing, which happens.
Yeah. The video went super long anyway.
Yeah, but we did get it out. I think we got it out Saturday.
Yep.
So, it's there. So if it was a little late, sorry. Hopefully you were still got some ideas of what to grab at pre-release when you could.
Yep.
This week might not be much better. The students have me staying super late. So I'm not going to get home till 8 the next 2 days. So
that's awful.
We'll get there. So yeah. So tell your friends.
Yep. Also, maybe not this week, but starting next week, we'll do arena data again.
Yeah.
Super early in the season is the most important time to gather data. Mm-hmm. So if you guys are interested at all in contributing or using our conclusions or whatever, do what you can to fill those sheets out for us, because the more data we get, the better the conclusions we can draw. I
think after the SEG weekend, that's when we're going to start to see what actually the metagame is. We had the two fandoms tournaments.
Yeah.
And it seemed like people coalesced around some things, but just, week 0 set's not out yet standard.
Right.
We'll just we'll give it a little bit more time before we start trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, at least we can use the SCG as a guideline to fill in deck
what the
names and
metagame.
stuff.
Yeah, what the metagame is.
Yeah.
Because if you just look at the fandom tournaments have been 16 players.
Yeah.
So there's not that much deck diversity there.
Right. Also, you guys should absolutely follow us on Twitter. That is kind of the ideal platform for sharing deck lists almost.
Yeah.
I know you do a really good job of blasting out new and exciting deck lists when you come across them.
Yeah, I don't send out everything because mono red with Angry Dwarf is duh. You put Angry Dwarf in mono red.
Yeah.
But I tried to send out the Dance of the Mance deck.
Yep.
I sent out a couple I think a couple Bant or Simic ramp decks because we were right. Oko is format warping.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to do that. I just kind of scroll through and if I see a deck that looks interesting, I try to tweet it out. And I think I lucked out that there were some arena codes that were tied to TwitchCon that had a super short shelf life. We just checked and they're dead now.
Yeah, and they went up this time yesterday, right?
Saturday or something. Yeah. And so I tweeted those out when I saw them. I just retweeted it just so people could find it. So the one that's still live is Play Eldraine, capital P, capital E, and that's worth 3 packs.
Yep.
But all the other ones are dead and gone.
Yeah, that one I actually got in my email, so I was able to get that one, but I didn't even know about the others until it was too late.
Just keep an eye out. I try to do my best to like pass on like the interesting information. Let me wade through all the Magic Twitter garbage.
There's a lot of it.
And pick out deck lists, and I'll just try to send the cool deck lists and like the funny stuff, and like whatever like Magic rage is going on, I will just not send to you. I'll just be like, yeah, that's the thing. I'm not going to like interact with this for you.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Let
I
me
hate
be
that
your
stuff.
filter.
Yeah. But also, look, if you guys want us to take a look at deck lists, you can, take a screenshot or whatever and tweet it at us.
Yeah. We'll give feedback.
Yep.
Apparently, our local store is making that our job now.
Well, kind of, sort of.
Unpaid internship.
I might have volunteered my services, and you might have come along for the ride. But
yeah. So we'll take a look. So I think the first thing, we'll go in chronological order here. We're going to talk about Magic Fest Atlanta.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, right?
2 weeks ago. It seems like much longer than that.
It does.
Yes, a lot has gone on.
It has been a very busy 2 weeks.
I've played a lot of Magic in between last Friday and today.
Yeah.
So main event was Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been following along, we settled in on, I think, the exact same 75.
Yes, exact same 75.
Exact same 75. I guess we can get this out of the way now. So we talked about our prep going forward and making kind of like the Legacy metagame and coming up with a plan for like each matchup.
Yep, even if it was just on paper, kind of like preliminary stages of a gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ended up being super beneficial.
That was my favorite way to prepare that I have found thus far.
I won a match because I Cabal Therapied my opponent, saw their hand, and knew that I could combo.
Right.
Because their hand, there was no way they had any spell that interacted with me.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, there's nothing in your deck. I know 70 of the 75 cards that you can play.
Yeah.
And none of them interact with me. Yeah. I can just go. So, like, that was really good.
Yeah.
Just having an idea of what to do was important. There were a few times that I was sideboarding and thought like, oh, looking at the list, I was like, no, I'm going to like make this change in sideboarding, and then went, no.
We thought out.
The reason we do this is because this card is bad for this reason, so I can't do that.
Yeah, there was a couple times in my matches too. I don't remember specifics, but I remember thinking to myself, well, this doesn't make any sense. And then I was like, oh yeah, we spent like 3 hours doing this the other night. There's a reason for the reason that we're putting this card in.
Yeah, or like, oh, there's a reason, like, Dryad Arbor, which is a creature in a land, comes out, but Colony Garden, which is also a creature in a land, stays in.
Yeah.
And just like being like, no, then you're like, oh no, we thought about this and this is the reason.
Yeah.
Probably saved me a few times from making a mistake.
Yep.
So just having spent the time in prep beforehand.
Yep. And also knowing, like you said earlier, what potentially could be in a list is
like
really
what
helpful.
mattered.
Yeah.
So I think if you have like a big modern tournament, I think that, if you're going to a modern GP or an MCQ and you're like, I really want to do well, doing something like this, giving yourself probably a week and a half to 2 weeks to sit down and do it all. Because I think we did the preliminary thing in like 4 days.
Yep.
And then we met for like 2 hours and went over everything again and like rehashed out everything.
Yeah.
I think we changed one card in our sideboard.
Right.
At the end.
Yeah. I mean, in lieu of playing a whole bunch of matchups, and actually, I think I like this prep better than just jamming games.
Yeah, I think
I got more out of it.
I think the only thing that would have been better is if we could have done the work and then played a few matchups we were not familiar with.
Yeah.
Like post board, like with the sideboard plan.
Right.
Because like kind of how game one's gonna go. You can play like 4 or 5 of those and get a good sense.
Yeah.
And then having seeing how the post board games went, because there were a few times that like we just turned into Jund.
Right.
And was like, all right, we're
on
gonna
the beatdown plan.
Yeah, we're gonna run you out of cards, and then we're gonna just beat you with whatever garbage I have laying around, which
Get
happens
in there,
to be a
Seder
3/4.
Wayfinder.
I won games with Seder Wayfinders. Yeah.
One quick thing is that we did have a mistake in our prep, right? We completely forgot about the most popular deck of the tournament.
Oh, yeah, Teamer Delver.
Yeah.
Now, in my defense, when I made the list, I could swear to you that the top deck in the format was 4-color Delver.
Yeah. And then, like, overnight it changed into Teamer.
Yeah, and we were like, we didn't have a plan for Teamer. Like, we kind of treated it like...
Yeah, it was the same as
4-color Delver.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't think I missed it, but let me go look.
Yeah.
And I was like, you watch. I'm going to open up Goldfish. It's going to be the top deck. And it was the top deck 17% of the format. And I was like, oops. So
it wasn't a big deal. It's pretty close to the other Delver matchup.
Yeah, but I think the format moved super fast.
Yeah.
Like, everyone just was like, we're going to play 4-color. Then it was like, no, we don't need to. We just want better mana.
Yeah.
Renin 6 is busted. How did you do?
I am super happy with my result, even though it's not great.
Okay.
I went 5-3. I finished 299. Again, we played Hogak Depths.
299 of 1,022 or 21, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. So yeah, pretty happy. I enjoy Legacy a lot, but really don't ever get a chance to play it. And by far, I have the least seat time with Legacy than I do any other format, like including Commander for some weird reason.
Yeah.
Like I haven't played Commander in months, but I've spent more time playing Commander than I have Legacy.
I mean, if you just count sheer time, the games last like 4 hours.
This is true.
I played one game. And I like maxed out my GP time. Shots fired, Commander.
Yeah, right. I had a fairly reasonable goal for myself. Because I don't play all the time. I was hoping to go 4-4 and just have an even record. So I did better than that.
Yeah.
Pretty happy with my performance. Played the worst matchup in the room, Death and Taxes, 3 times. I beat it once. Did not get it the other 2 times. I played Sneak and Show twice. Beat it once, lost once. I played Teamer once, lost that round.
Yeah, your opponent, though, drew like a god.
Yeah. I mean, I had presented turn 2 Mom twice, and top deck Caracas was...
Not good.
No, not great for me. But yeah, I was happy with how I did.
Okay.
The pairings could have been a little bit better, but I think for the most part I played pretty tight. I think there was one thing, like, I don't even remember what it was now, but there was one thing that I mentioned, like, right after my game.
Yeah.
Like, one round that I could have done better, but pretty happy.
Yeah. I was pretty happy, too.
Yeah. How'd you do?
I finished 101st, won $250 with the most awkward cash record ever. I went 9-3-3.
Yeah, I don't know anybody else that has ever had that record.
30 total match points, playing like a turn 2 combo deck.
Yeah.
One, this is a lesson in like learning your B plan.
Yeah.
I think I made Merit Lage probably less than 10 times all weekend.
Yeah.
I just ended up turning all my games into these like grindy attrition matchups where I just like was left with a couple Elvish Reclaimers.
So what you're saying is we should have played Loam?
I don't know if I'm going to go that far. But, you know, I won with Satyr Wayfinder beats. I beat someone with a Dryad Arbor that I then copied with a Thespian Stage, that I then copied with another Thespian Stage, and just was swinging for 3 each turn.
Swinging with the trees.
I played kind of a mix of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I played Storm, which isn't a good matchup.
Yeah.
Game 1, just made a quick combo on him. Game 2, like, he thought seized me and looked at my hand and went like, oh, it was just all discard and just like there was, he had no hand after like turn 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
I played Blackguard Reanimator, which is a bad matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Just got stomped. Played Miracles, which is where I got my first draw, which put me in the Miracles bracket. Yeah, so I was 3-1-1 at that point. And then played against Grixis Control, which game 1 I just comboed him real quick, and then because he didn't really have anything. Yeah. And then game 2, I think I just went on like beatdown plan, just random stuff. Let's see, what else did I play? I played against 4-color Delver, beat that. Blue-white Stoneblade. I thought he was on Miracles in game 1. Just he didn't have like functional hands. Playing a lot of Legacy, like the little interactions. He played a Jace. His hand was garbage because he hadn't done anything. He played a Jace, and he plus the Jace because I had a Hex Mage on board. because he didn't want me to attack and kill his Jace.
Right.
So I attacked him and then sacked my Hex Mage to kill his
Jace.
And he went, oh no, I forgot that happens.
Oops.
And then I played Death and Taxes as my winning in for day 2.
Yeah.
And game 1, I went Reclaimer, Mox Diamond, go, and then somehow cast a Hex Mage, and then cast a Cabal Therapy. Named Swords of Plowshares, made a 20/20, and deaded him on the spot. He went Plains Aether Vial.
Oh. And
I think he was super confident that he had me covered, and I just had him discard both his swords, and he lost on the spot. He just picked up his cards.
Yeah.
And then the next game, he got on board. I was behind, and my out was, as we often say, my opponent having a stroke. And I knew his hand. He had a Flicker Wisp in his hand, and he had a Flicker Wisp and a Mirror Crusader on board. And I was at 8. He attacked me with the Flicker Wisp and the Mirror Crusader, put me to 1. If he would have left the Flicker Wisp back, the clock was the same. I had no way to interact with the Mirror Crusader.
Right. And
then he didn't cast his Flicker Wisp, and I went and assembled the combo at instant speed with crop rotation, and he had a Rashad Port Plains. He could have tapped both my lands in response.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it's fine. I know what you're getting. I know what you're doing.
Oh, man.
And I got an Urborg, made a 20/20, and he just stared at his hand.
Yeah.
And me in his hand. And then was just stunned, and was go ahead. He's like, upkeep, tap your Urborg, and I was like, attack you? Yeah. I thought he had a Swords to Plowshares, so I was just hoping to gain 20 life and try to figure something out, and I just killed him.
Yeah.
So I think he played a little loose, thinking that not knowing that I could put it together.
Right. Well, we're also on kind of a unconventional build of the deck. So.
Yeah, but it was just I think he just was yeah, whatever. I can't lose from this position.
Yeah.
And
then lost.
Yeah. So, and then I played Mono Red Prison as my welcome to day 2. I got Mono Red Prisoned.
Yeah.
It was bad.
You had a neat story about that round, though, don't you?
Which one's this one?
Or was that your last round?
My last round.
Okay.
This opponent lost his winning into top 8.
Yeah.
To Colin Roundtree. So he finished 16th or something.
Sweet.
And then went to day 2. This is where our prep helped. I played against a 4-color control, snow control player. And this is where someone else not knowing the matchup or being new to their deck, because that deck hasn't been around very long.
Yeah.
Game 1, I lost. Game 2, I had an Elvish Reclaimer. He wastelanded me, and I played another one, and I had 3 lands in my graveyard, and I was like, attack you for 3.
Yeah.
And he picked up the card and read it and went, oh. And he then proceeded to take 6 and 6 and 6 and die.
Yeah.
So game 3, he was like, I have to be able to kill Elvish Reclaimer.
Right.
So he brought in Fatal Push.
Oh.
Which is dead against the 20/20 plan.
Right.
And I went turn 2 20/20 Cabal Therapy, you name Baleful Strix. And he had 1 land in play, and I looked at his hand, and he had 3 Brainstorms, a Ponder, and cards that didn't matter.
Yeah.
But
Fatal
no
push.
lands. And no lands. And everything that interacts with the Merit Lage is 2 mana.
Right.
So there was no way on the next turn he could have ripped a land and a 2-mana interaction spell.
Right.
So he was just dead on the spot. And then you guys told me afterwards you saw him cast a Brainstorm and he drew 3 Fatal Pushes, or drew 2 Fatal Pushes.
Yeah, there was 2 Fatal Pushes.
Yeah, so he just put in dead cards because he kind of panicked.
Right.
It was I lost to this last game, and now if I had a plan, I'm going to blow it up because I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, that was something that my second Death in Texas player had told me also. That was the one that I beat. Is he was super scared of Elvish Reclaimer. And, after we finished our round, that's kind of one of the things I told him, is that you don't have to be scared of Elvish Reclaimer. You got tons of nerds that jump in front of an Elvish Reclaimer. You need to be scared of Mom.
Yeah.
And everything in your deck kills Mom. Don't waste your swords on my Elvish Reclaimer.
You can just block that with a Mirror Crusader or a Flicker Wisp or whatever else you have in your deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this opponent hadn't played this matchup before, or not very much on that particular deck because it's new and kind of, stressed out a bit. If he had a plan, got off of it.
Yeah.
I played the like Shrek deck, the Nihilome Reclaimer deck.
Yeah.
I think that was like turn 1 Wasteland, turn 2 Caracas, and I was like, sure. Played an Elvish Reclaimer, got its swords because had my combo covered a million different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, lost both those games quite embarrassingly. Drew against Teamer Delver. Mm-hmm. This draw I'm like happy with because I mauled to 5 game 3.
Yeah.
So basically I'm done. Play Elvish Reclaimer with a Mox Diamond out turn 1.
Yeah.
And he brainstorms in response. Mm-hmm. And I go Cabal Therapy, name Renin 6. Mm-hmm. And I hit a Renin 6. And his hand has 2 Tarmogoyfs. And I'm like, well, I'm on 5.
Yeah.
I am never winning this game.
Right.
With 10 minutes and no cards. Sack my Elvish Reclaimer named Tarmogoyf.
Absolutely.
He brainstorm locked himself because he had no fetch land.
Yeah.
So he knew his next couple cards. And then he didn't have any plays. So I was able to like grind out a draw there. Give me 2 draws, yay. Then I played against 4-color Loam, like punishing Loam, and I'm not happy with this draw. I probably should have mulliganed to the combo.
Yeah, because you were running out of time.
Yeah, we were running out of time. Like there was like 5 or 6 minutes left, and I kept a hand that was like interactive that I wouldn't die.
Yeah. Right
in the back of my head, I was like, well, a draw gets me a win. Like gets me to 3 draws, which is 1 match win. And I was like, this interactive hand, I'm not going to die with this hand.
Yeah.
I would kind of gotten the wrong mindset. I should have been trying to find a way to win the game.
Realistically, though, like Loam's not going to kill you anyway, not that fast.
Yeah.
Like they're in for the grindy game.
Yeah, well, I almost died. I would have died if he had like 2 more turns.
Oh, okay.
So I was at 13, and he had a Knight of the Reliquary, which has power and toughness equal number of lands in your graveyard. Mm-hmm. And he was attacking for 7 or 8. And I was like, can I look at your graveyard? And he had 2 Bayous and 2 Wastelands.
Yeah.
So I surgicaled both of them.
Yeah.
To take 2
Shrunk it way down.
Shrunk it down by 4.
Yeah.
So I only took 5. So he didn't have enough. He only had 1 more turn.
Yeah.
So he couldn't kill me with it. And then I played against Blue Red Delver, which I'm supposed to beat, and I did.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
Yeah. He had like 1 Vapor Snag. Got him. And then I played against the other Nightmare matchup, Mono Red.
Yeah.
Game 1, he played a turn 1 Chandra.
Ooh, that's scary.
I somehow got it off the board, and then had 3 Elvish Reclaimers and a Satyr Wayfinder and tend him twice.
Yeah.
Won the game.
That'll do it.
Yeah. And then game 2, I got Mono Red.
Yeah.
Mono Redded. I just got deaded super fast. And then game 3, played a Magus of the Moon. I was able to like interact with some stuff. Got the board clear. He just had Ancient Tomb Mountain. Mm-hmm. And he kept damaging himself to like cast any of his spells. He actually played in a Braid on a Satyr Wayfinder.
Yeah.
Which cost him 2 life. And he got down to 1, and I crop rotated for a Dryad Arbor and killed him with it. I was like, blow up your Chalice on 1, crop rotate for Dryad Arbor, kill you.
Perfect.
So I think one thing to take away from my weekend is like, even your bad matchups in any format aren't 100-0.
Right.
Right? Like you can find a way. Like the turn 1 Chandra, he just drew awful.
Yeah.
Game 3, he had a Karn, the Great Creator, that he had on like 9 loyalty, and he was attacking me with Ensnaring Bridges, and I was like, I just need to rip a Hex Mage and kill this thing, and I ripped a Hex Mage and killed it.
Yeah. And
then the game like started over with, he had a bridge and like a million cards in his hand, and he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So you just have to kind of stay locked in as best you can to like hope that your opponent draws poorly, or that your like sideboard plan gives you enough percentage points.
Yeah. I mean, that's important in a big, long event like that anyways, to stay locked in. It's real easy for your focus to kind of drift around a little bit once you start getting hungry and thirsty and got to take a leak.
I mean, I think that like at GPDC, when I like picked up my second loss, when I like stopped drawing lands and spells.
Yeah.
Like I like the third loss was me just being like, yeah, I'm off it.
Yeah.
as opposed to like I definitely like lost the first loss, impacted my second loss, impacted my third loss.
Yeah.
And like I wasn't able to like stop the snowball.
Mm-hmm. It's easy to fall into that trap though.
Yeah. So a few little things. We're not going to get too specific, but one, be clear in your communications.
Yes.
My Reanimator player
was mute.
Was probably not really a mute. He got very excited when someone brought up Braves baseball, but basically had a Chancellor of the Annex, which has a pregame effect if it's in your hand. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at my hand. I was like, I'll keep. And I like looked up and he like threw a card at me.
Yeah.
And it was the Chancellor. He didn't say, I have pregame actions or here's my Chancellor. He just kind of threw the card in my general direction.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I guess I will imply that means there's a Chancellor trigger in effect. Okay.
Yeah.
And then was just like doing things on his side of the battlefield without like saying like what he was doing or like putting things just like magically went into the graveyard and like mana was made. No, I couldn't interact with it.
Right.
But like just like clearly being like, hey, I'm doing this is important to like just let your opponent know.
Right.
Because like you're not playing on like Arena or Magic Online. You have to actually interact with the person across from you.
Yep.
So try to be clear. Mm-hmm. Also remember that your opponents, particularly in large events, don't have your best interest at heart.
This is 100% true.
I had a few things where Renin 6s were used in dubious manners.
Yeah.
I had an opponent play one of the new Modern Horizon Canopy lands.
Yeah.
Or Horizon lands.
Horizon lands.
Sacrificed it to draw a card because he was dead to a 20/20.
Yeah.
Plus his Renin 6 and sneak his land back on the battlefield to... crack it again for another card, and I was like, you already played a land this turn, and he immediately conceded.
Yeah.
Had another opponent tick down their Renin 6 to kill my creature, and then tick up their Renin 6 to get a land back.
Yeah.
And I had to be like, hey, you've already done that.
Yeah, I had a similar experience in Double Up on Sunday, one of the side events. Actually twice, 2 of the 3 rounds that I played. My opponent was trying to cheese me on mana.
Play like an extra land or something?
No, didn't tap enough to cast his spells.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, like, sometimes it's innocent, and sometimes it's not. In round 12 of a GP, it's probably not innocent. You've had enough time with that deck that you know
Well, not only
what's
that,
up.
but you've also probably been playing Magic for a while if you're halfway through day 2 of a GP.
Yes. So just be mindful. Like, I think I called a judge I called a judge on one player 3 times. Yeah. For various different things. Yeah. So don't be like afraid to call a judge. Sometimes like if an opponent asks me a question, I'll be like, this is how this works, but I'll just call a judge and like I've called judges and go like, hey, this works this way, right? Mm-hmm. And they just go like, yep. And I'm like, cool. Yep. Again, another being clear in communication. I cast Surgical Extraction against an opponent. Yeah. And he was like, okay. Handed me his deck. I flipped it over and I started going through his deck. And he's like, could I respond to that? And I was like, yes, you could have responded to that, but the spell has resolved because your deck's in my hand. Right. I called a judge over and he's like, well, I was like, he asked if he could respond and I told him he could have, but I have his deck. He's like, well, that's not exactly what I said. He's like, I just asked and I was like, look, I said, the bottom card of your deck is this and about 10 cards down is this card. He's like, well, I can't confirm that. And the judge is like, no, I saw the bottom of your deck. Those cards were in your deck. Yeah. And it's like, if he would have waited a beat and been like, let me respond.
Instead of handing you his
Instead
deck.
of just being like, it's good. The spell hadn't resolved. He was in the clear. So just like, be sure that you communicate clearly. And a dangerous thing that we all do, hopefully because we're polite, is just be like, okay. Right. And okay means like it has happened. Right. I had a judge sitting beside me and I was like, for one of my draws, like, yeah, you got it. And I was like, well, wait, no, judge. No. I'm not conceding. We have a draw. This is a draw. Sorry, judge. So just be clear. Right. Right. And again, don't be afraid to call a judge. Mm-hmm. Right. If you're not doing anything shady, right, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, they're there to make sure everybody's playing correctly.
Yeah, so be mindful.
Yep.
So be a decent human being.
Please.
Communicate.
Yep.
And, be mindful of the fact that sometimes your opponents, my last match was a $250 match.
Right.
Which, cool, but maybe someone 3 tables over from me, that $250 was way more important to them than it was to me or their opponent. And, maybe they were trying to get an unfair advantage because that really mattered to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just be mindful that your opponent sometimes isn't the best dude or dudette.
Again, I played the double up, and my first opponent was on Tron, which is a terrible matchup for me. I was on Jund, but he forgot to pay for one of his chromatic star activations or something.
Okay. So he had 1 extra mana?
Yes, it wasn't a big deal. He couldn't do anything with it anyway, but it's something that needs to get fixed, especially when you're playing for prizes at a big event. So that was the first one. My round 3 opponent, I think, was trying to cheese me. He had previously asked me to concede to him because he really before the match started, because he really needed the prize tickets to get a foil Cavernous Souls for his Goblin deck or something. I was like, no, man, we'll play. It's fine. And the whole time he was playing very aggressively, throwing cards down and going really fast or whatever. And we were in game 3. I beat him the first, I beat him the first game. He beat me in the second game when we were in game 3, and he cast 3 spells in a turn, and just kind of tapped all his mana at once. And I didn't even realize that he only had 2 black mana. He didn't have a 3rd black mana for the 3rd spell. So
yeah. So again, just be mindful. It doesn't happen super frequently.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is innocent stuff.
Yep.
But the reason I should have called a judge on the guy who tried to play a second land in case he did that 2 more times in the tournament. That might have been his MO for the day.
Yep.
It's just a way for them to track stuff so that it doesn't keep happening. If the same person keeps making the same mistake over and over again, it stops being a mistake.
Right.
So, but yeah, don't think that you need to be super, suspicious of all your opponents.
Yeah, no. And
there's definitely a line. I heard someone C+, we'll move them B+, A- Magic Celebrity, talking to someone about, let's just do odd or even because I know there are people that can die roll cheat, and Legacy is the format that's impacted by it by the most, according to the Magic ELO calculator. I'm like,
jeez,
whoa, pump the brakes there. Poindexter, come on, really, die roll cheats. This is where we are in the world. Oh man,
yeah.
I didn't practice my deck at all, but you know what I got down? I got down that die roll 12s. Man. So you don't need to be paranoid.
Yeah.
But just be aware.
Yep, and don't be scared of judges either. I mean, I've had a whole bunch of judge calls against me over the years.
Sorry.
No.
I got you again this time.
No, it's fine. It happens. And you don't learn if you don't get called out on it. So I don't mind at all.
I'm apologizing because there was a sequencing error in James's game.
Yep.
So Mox Opal says if it would come onto the battlefield, discard a land. And James went Mox Opal, discard a land, and his opponent kind of went in the tank and then countered it.
Yeah.
And then James passed the turn.
Yeah, land was still in my graveyard.
And I was hold on for a second. And I was like, this is what happened, Judge. And he got to he got you got a GRV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
not a big deal.
You have to get 3 of them for it to even matter.
Right.
And it has to be 3 of them for the same thing or something.
Yeah.
So James will never make that mistake again.
Correct.
I think I made it a little bit later, not on autopilot, and I was I'll pick that land back up. My bad. But yeah, so it's not a big deal.
No, it happens.
So you said play double ups is the next thing. So either day 2 your GP,
right, or hit the sides up,
Yeah,
side events are awesome. For whatever reason, they make you feel a lot better about not making day 2.
Yeah.
And I think the double ups are probably the best bang for your buck as far as side events go.
Yeah, they're are they $40?
Yeah, $40.
But it's double prizes.
It's double prizes. Yep. So if you can, scrounge together a couple wins, you can walk away with a whole bunch of product.
Yeah.
Like a box or more.
I've had pretty good luck in side events.
Yeah, so have I.
Right? I mean, if you get to a point where you're pretty good and like you're not locked for like a 2-1 in your side event, but you're pretty close. You're probably better than 60%.
Right. Another thing to keep in mind is I just realized this while we were at Atlanta, but side events on day 1 of a GP, I think the competition level is quite a bit lower because all the like reasonable players are playing in the main event.
Yeah, especially if it's the format of the event. So if you're at a modern GP and day 1 they're firing a modern side event.
Yeah.
Like the people that are like hardcore modern players.
Right. They're playing the main event.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was talking to a guy on Sunday and I don't think he realized this is what happened. But it was like towards the end of the day on Sunday, and he was telling me how he was cleaning up on Saturday. He 3-0'd every event he was in, but then come Sunday, he couldn't win a single game. And after I got done talking to him, I was thinking to myself, I bet you it's because all the reasonable players were in the GP.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
All the people that went 5-3 and just barely missed.
Yeah.
Are now like getting the revenge on side events and trying to make something out of their weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys can keep that in mind too. Like if you're, don't feel like you're quite up for a main event, hit up the GP anyway and go play some side events, and maybe you can spike an event or two.
Yeah. Also, when you're at your GP, participate in commerce.
Yeah.
So we have some favorite vendors.
We sure do.
That we want to kind of shout out and just kind of give you some like shopping around tips.
Yeah.
And the first thing is shop around.
Absolutely.
Right? Like it is a card will be 20 feet from each other at 2 different booths and be $20 or $30 difference in price.
Or more.
Yeah. Like so when I decide that I want to get a card, I then decide I'm going to walk around and try to find the cheapest one in the room.
Right.
And I just start and I'm like, okay, these guys have it for 8, these guys have it for 9, and I do a lap.
Yep.
What I did this time before I went is I made a list of what I wanted to try to keep myself honest.
Yep. That's a great idea. And
then price them all out on TCG.
So you know what to look for.
So I could be like, okay, I want a Cavalier of Thorns. It's $7 on TCG Player. So I am happy at $7 or anything less than that.
Right.
And like I had a little running list of like, okay, foil Plague Engineers are $39, or this one's $30. The cheapest one in the room's $37.
Yep.
I saved myself $2. I still spent $37 on a piece of cardboard, but I saved myself $2.
That's all right.
Right. But make sure you shop around. Like have an idea of what the cards cost before you go. Like, so you have to spend less time on your phone, like searching. You just already have your list made.
Yeah, it's, kind of a bad look to be sitting in front of a vendor, like pulling up prices on your phone while they're, trying. They're in the middle of helping you, and they got 3 other people next to you waiting to be helped.
Yeah, like, I also, to avoid that, I'll like be like, okay, I want these 3 cards from this vendor.
Right.
And then kind of do it all at once.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like, get me this, let me think. Get me this other thing. It's like, no, I want like A, B, and C.
Yeah, I do that too. A lot of times I'll make a pass like around a vendor's table, and then when I get to the very end, I'll flag someone down and say, I want that from over there. I want this from over here. I want 2 of those from this case.
Yeah. Just like, again, be a decent human.
Yeah.
So shop around. This is probably the best place other than the internet to find like weird stuff and like...
Yeah, and a lot of the weird stuff, like, you want to look at before you buy it anyway.
Yeah.
But the vendors always bring a lot of obscure stuff, like really hard to find cards, like a reserve list stuff or promo versions or whatever.
Yeah, and also, like, when we say obscure stuff, I think we also saw the, like, test print foils of the Planeswalkers that had no art on them. They're just silver shiny.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, if, like, obscure Magic cards is your thing... You're not going to find test print Planeswalker promo on TCG.
Yeah, no.
Right? No, you've got to like find like the test print City of Traders foil like 4 years before they made foils.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's where you're going to find that stuff.
There was also a vendor that had like complete sets.
Yeah, like the Magic Online like redemption sets.
Well, no, I was talking like old complete sets. There was a vendor that had like
Homelands.
I saw the Dark.
Yeah, the Dark and Homelands.
Yeah.
And then had a bunch of the Magic Online redemption packs.
Yep.
So yeah, like if you want a complete set, like a little part of me wanted to buy a complete set of Homelands, but I didn't.
Just for shiggles?
Yeah, I was like, I could probably just assemble this for like $15.
Probably.
Like if I just went to TCG Play right now.
Yeah. Also, like old sealed product.
Yeah.
GPs are a good place to find old sealed product if that's your thing.
So I know that Nick wants to have like one booster pack from every set, and so he's like bought random booster packs that you're like, your store is not going to have an Ice Age booster pack, more than likely.
Christos always makes it a ritual to buy an old booster pack whenever he goes to an event.
Gotcha.
So I think he's opened like a Dark Steel booster and, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, they're anywhere from $10 to $20 for the most part.
Yeah. Some
of them are a little higher.
Some of them are more, but
like in that general ballpark.
Yep.
Another thing to keep in mind that we don't have on our list here is, and this goes to kind of our best vendors in terms of deals, is some vendors are cash only.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I always end up paying for the hotel, and then I just get given cash, and then that's how I function at the cash only booths. A lot of the cash only booths are way cheaper.
Yeah. My favorite booths are cash only.
Yeah. Well, Moose Loot is not cash only.
Well, they were for a long time. And
so,
now they're only like barely not cash only.
They charge you a 3% surcharge.
Yeah.
Our two kind of favorite vendors,
at least coming out of this one, like the Moose Loot has been my favorite for a long time.
Yeah.
They've always treated me well. They've always had the best prices. I mean, we've been dealing with them since they were backpack vendors.
Yeah, so you're not allowed to, if you haven't paid for a booth, you're not allowed to exchange money for cards.
Right.
So they were small and couldn't afford a booth.
Right.
So they were like 2 or 3 guys in hats with antlers.
Yeah.
Thus Moose Loot. And they would just have trade binders. Yeah. And they would just spend the whole weekend
trading.
Yeah. But basically like trading almost like buy list.
Yeah.
Like they gave you like a little bit less for your card. Right. And so they did that for years, and now they're big enough that they had the biggest booth.
They absolutely had the biggest
GP
booth. They had a bigger booth than Star City.
Yeah.
They had a bigger booth than Channel Fireball.
Yeah, they had the biggest booth in the room.
Yeah.
And their prices are good.
Their prices are great.
So I took my GP winnings before they actually materialized in my account and bought 2 Taigas and a Plateau.
Yep.
From them. They were like, ended up being $300 total.
Yep. It's pretty good.
Not bad at all.
Yep.
And then the other one, the one that's really big for you having cash, is 95 MTG.
Yeah, and I hadn't really dealt with them a whole lot before Atlanta, but they had awesome prices. They had the best prices in the room.
They're probably 10 to 15% below everyone else.
Yeah.
Maybe not, if not more on some things.
Yeah, some things were more.
But the drawback is they only take cash.
Right.
Like there's no option to get to like credit card at all.
Right.
Having cash for them like is important, and thinking ahead so you're not paying some like ridiculous like
ATM
fee at like the convention center.
Yeah.
They were good. That's where I got my Nourishing Peatland and Plague Engineer.
Yep, I got my Peatland from them too.
Yeah, and they were $3 and $5 below
what anybody else was.
Yeah. So just be on the lookout. Like everyone, like everything's priced differently. Like I wanted a foil F&M Duress to make my 4th one, and I found it for $9 at a booth where like Moose Loot had it for $13. So just doing that lap and being like. And not just like snap impulse buying something because you see it, being like, there's another one in the room. The internet exists. Let me just go look and take my time.
Also, like their inventory changes over the weekend as they buy and sell. So like it's worth it to stop back a couple times too.
Yeah. So like I'm always that's what I do in between rounds is I just like go look at stuff.
The third one that, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows what Star City Games is. But they have a heavy play section that they bring to all the big events, whereas a lot of booths don't bring their heavy play stuff, and they'll blow cards out.
Yeah. I think that like Star City almost exclusively brings their heavy play stuff.
Yeah.
their cases are just, there's like a high-end section,
Yep.
heavy played high-end, and
Yeah.
just like general heavy played stuff.
Yep.
And their heavy played things usually aren't that beat up.
Yeah, they're pretty strict on their grading, so a lot of their heavy play stuff, I think, is, in really good shape.
Moderate play.
Yeah.
Like, they'll just give you the stack and let you pick whichever one you want. Yeah, so I'm looking at a foil Onslaught Shock that was heavy play that looks great.
Yeah. I bought a stack of them for $3 a piece, and they look fantastic.
Yeah. If you're just willing to like go through like the stack of cards, and some of them
Yeah.
look like a dog chewed on them, and then other ones you're
Yeah.
like, why is this in this? I'll take this.
Yeah, no, there are definitely cards that are missing corners, but there are also cards that look fantastic.
Yeah.
And you can find killer deals. A lot of my dual lands came from their section there.
Yeah. I mean, the dual lands I bought from Moose Loot,
Yeah.
it was like, well, there's an $80 plateau, there's a $90 plateau, and there's a $100 plateau. Let me look at the $80 one.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it has a little bit of like inking, like someone had like ink on their thumb and then touched their card, and it's not super big. Like the front's fine. Sure, I'll take it.
Yep.
Right. So if you're willing to take a little bit of a hit in like condition, you can get really big deals.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're thinking long term, a beat up plateau is not getting reprinted.
That's
a beat
true.
up Underground Sea. Like I bought my Badlands 3 years ago for $50 out of the scratch and dent bin.
Yeah.
They're $250 now, and like they're scratch and dent, but I'm sure I could get $175, $150 for them.
Probably.
Like no problem.
Yep.
So yeah, just like look around.
Yep.
And like bring cash.
Yes, bring cash. Some vendors will also give you a deal if you pay cash also.
Yeah.
It's not something they advertise, and it can kind of be a bad look if you're asking for a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get in a conversation with one of the employees, sometimes you can feel them out a little bit.
Also, like there'll be some employees that will sell their personal cards in the case.
Yep.
Or they'll just be like a case that'll just be cash only. Like,
Right.
The other 95% of their cards are for credit.
Yeah.
You can pay with a card, but there'll be a small section, and sometimes it's like high-end things or things that like the employees have that they're trying to like flip, and they can't like credit card it into the store's account. So you just have to like pay Bob the employee.
Right. One more thing to mention on the topic of vendors is it doesn't happen all the time, but the last couple events that we've been to, there's been a couple vendors that brought like bulk, like not actual bulk, but like long boxes full of cards.
Yeah.
And just put them out with color-coded sleeves and let people go through them. And there's some really good deals in those too. Obviously they take a little bit longer to go through, and they're usually pretty crowded, but you can find some deals in those too.
Yeah, there's a lot of like 2 cards for $1 kind of stuff if you're willing to go through. And sometimes like if you have a card you think's going to be good that you like missed out on from standard, like that might be the time to like grab some. I think you bought a bunch of Crashing Footfalls for 50 cents a piece or $1 a piece.
Yeah, I think I bought 6 or 8 of them, for 50 cents a piece.
Yeah.
Pelt Collectors I got for 50 cents a piece. I got 2 play sets. Yeah.
So these are places like if you have time in between rounds or like, your event finished at 3 and the next one you want to play is at 5, right? Grab a snack and then come back and go through a bunch
grab
of
a
cards.
soda. The one that I was at in particular was at Moose Loot this time, and they had an extra employee on Sunday. So they had somebody watching over like the bulk section. So I had a great time shooting the shit with the guy. The guy that was sitting there, watching everyone and cracking jokes and just sorting bulk.
Next up is where we're going to be next, and I'm pretty sure I should be able to weasel my way out of work, but we're going to go to Magic Fest Richmond. It's also the site of the last Mythic Championship. So like in one convention center hall, there's going to be the Mythic Championship, and in the other one there will be a Magic Fest.
Yeah, I don't know like how separate it's going to be. I don't know if they're going to be like in 2 different halls or if they're going to put up something between them, or if it's just like free to mingle around, or I have no idea what to expect, but I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for new standards, so I'm excited for the format. Richmond, we always have fun when we go to Richmond anyway.
Yeah.
We got a couple good restaurants we like in Richmond, and like I said, the Mythic Championship is there also, so. Yeah,
it'll be something cool to do because I've never got to do that before.
Yep. It'll be neat to see that number of pros all in one place.
Yeah.
Like back when we used to start traveling, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to see like 10 or 15 pros at an event. But lately, there's never pros at events.
Never. I don't know if there was any like.
Yeah.
I think we checked. There were 3 people
with 3 buys.
that are like the equivalent of like platinum.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's like a ton of them.
Yeah.
So the other event we played in was the Throne Prerelease.
Mm-hmm.
Prereleases are a little more casual,
yeah,
a little more laid back. Try to be a good ambassador.
Yeah, pre-release is a great time to get new people into the game. I know it's kind of late to take this to heart, but maybe remember for next time. Everybody's new at some point, and everybody can use a little bit of shaping to turn into like the best Magic player they can be. So just remember to kind of be a good human being, especially at pre-release.
Yeah. What are our initial impressions of this set?
The fixing is trash.
It is awful.
Yeah.
So
you can barely run a 2-color deck, and I saw 3 and 4 color piles.
Yeah, people are insane.
Yeah.
I played a 3-color deck in my last event because I showed up right at the end of build time because I got my times mixed up, and I was just like, well, these are my most powerful cards. Let's do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it helped that you had 3 ops too, though.
Yeah.
Like that helped fix your mana.
Card draw is mana fixing if done correctly.
Yeah. I mean, it can be.
Yeah.
Like you joke, but that's...
Yeah. So, yeah, the fixing in this format is the worst we've seen in the last year, maybe year and a half.
Yeah.
In sealed, at least, aggro decks are usually not good.
Right.
I contend that the aggro decks in this format aren't great.
Yeah.
But if you are the red-black aggro deck and you have a swamp and a mountain in your hand, and your opponent is blue-green and they only have islands, you win. You win a lot of those games.
Yeah.
But you're super far behind if they actually cast like 2-drop, 3-drop.
Yeah.
So like you're kind of crossing your fingers and hoping that you can get enough early damage in before they like get their second color.
Yep. One quick aside about like the aggro decks in this format is there's a lot of good combat tricks that are like an adventure stapled onto a creature.
Yeah.
So it feels better to run them than it normally does because you're not out a body to do it.
Yeah, like Rimrock Knight.
Yeah.
Is +2/+0 is his adventure, and then he's just a 3/1 that can't block.
Yep. And then there's the Fairy Guide Mother.
The +2/+1 and flying on a 1/1 body.
Yep.
The common like 3 and a green 3/2 that's 1 and a green for +2/+2.
Yep.
Right. So those are all fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like it's a slower format, and just like I think we kind of talked about this before, like the food being everywhere, you just have a bunch of like pay 2 mana, gain 3 life, which is hard for aggressive decks to deal with.
It is, but if you can keep pressure on, like they don't have time to crack their food.
Yes, this is true.
So
James and I come at this from very different sides.
Yeah.
How many aggressive decks, how many aggro decks did you play?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah.
I played one red-white aggressive deck that I said was absolute trash.
Yeah.
I won 3 games by playing Embercleave and dealing like all the damage in one turn.
Yeah.
And then stumbled a little bit against someone, and at one point they were at 28 life with a Clatterbridge Troll that had drawn them 3 cards and gained them 9 life.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me play my 3/1 that can't block. Go.
Actually, the worst one I had was that, like the most mid-rangey of all of them, that Knights deck.
Mm-hmm.
I think was my worst sealed pool.
Yeah, I played. My last one was like an Esper control deck. It was just like card draw, garbage creatures, and a Lockmere Serpent.
Yeah.
If you get a Lockmere Serpent, take it.
Yeah.
If you resolve it, you can't lose.
Pretty much.
Well, as long as they don't like exile it with the the 1 in the black exile thing, but otherwise you can't lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I played a bunch of like mid-rangey, control-ish decks.
Mm-hmm.
I played a lot on Arena as well. Like the only decks I really enjoyed were like the decks that you were drawing a lot of cards and seeing a lot of resources. The ones that were like aggressive, I just felt like outclassed if my opponents cast any spells.
Yeah.
And like there's also like really bad sizing, I think, for aggressive decks.
Yeah, that's true.
There's like the Curious Pairs of 1/3.
Yeah.
There's the 4-drop turtle that's a 1/5.
Yeah.
There's
the 5-drop that's a 2/5.
There's a 2/5. and those are in blue.
Yep.
So to get around that, a lot of the black creatures have menace.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the 3/2 Bell of the Brawl has menace. Yep. There's the Lockhaven or Lockmere Knight Paladin. Yeah. That's a 3/2 that has adamant that makes it a 4/3 and it has menace. So there's ways to get around that, like kind of already built in the set. But like
there's a giant that gives menace.
Yeah, but for a lot of them, like you're just like, oh, this is I can't ever attack into this.
Yeah,
my 2/1 is like awful now.
So were there any like particular cards that over impressed you?
Again, at Rare, like I played Lockmere Serpent once on Arena and once in person, and it's just like this card's a joke. If you resolve it, it's just ridiculous.
I got a rankle in one of my pools, and that card, I guess I must have like misread the card twice. Like the first time I read it, I thought it only happened on Enter the Battlefield.
Oh.
And then the second time I read it, I thought you only got to pick one.
No.
And then when I got home last night and was like sorting my cards out, I was like,
3.
Oh no.
You get to pick all 3.
Yeah, that card's way better.
You hit me with it and you were like, draw a card. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, cool.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do more than one.
Yeah. Trying to think. So Revenge of Ravens is a messed up Magic card.
Yeah, that card's dirty.
Revenge of Ravens is almost Moat.
Yep.
So if you're not super old or a baller, Moat is 2 white creatures without flying can attack.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, how is this 3 and a black enchantment Moat? It says whenever a creature attacks you, any creature, the controller loses a life and you gain a life.
Yeah.
So if you get them down on life a little bit,
they can't attack you.
If they don't have big creatures, they can't attack you. Like 2/2s deal 1 damage to you and 1 damage to them.
Yeah.
And I lost multiple games to getting down, being at like 6 and my opponent being at 12 and being like, I can't cobble together enough attacks in this game to actually win it.
Mm-hmm.
So like any like go wide creature strategy that just like kind of sits on.
Yeah.
And also I lost a ton of games to Sir Conrad.
Yeah, that's a messed up Magic card too.
Right, 1 on a so it's 3 black. I mean, I told you it was good. 3 black, 5/4. Basically, whenever a creature goes into your graveyard into any graveyard from anywhere,
or leaves your graveyard,
you deal 1 damage to your opponent.
Yep.
And it says 1 on a black. Both players put the top card of their library into their graveyard.
Yep.
Again, combat is effectively banned on some level because if they chump something, you just take damage.
My first sealed pool had 3 of the Eye Blight fairies or whatever that mill when they connect, and 2 Sir Conrads in it.
Yeah, like you just like stick and you're just like, no, I'm going to mill you out, and I'm either going to run you out of cards or I'm going to kill you. I'm probably going to kill you before I run you out of cards.
Yeah.
Speaking of running you out of cards, Folio of Fancy is great.
Yeah.
I watched someone play a deck that they weren't particularly good. There was like a big skill gap.
Yeah.
But like if he would have just gone like, I'm just going to beat you with Folio of Fancies, he would have won the match easy. He had it on turn 2 all 3 games, and it was great. I had it in one of my sealed pools on Arena and was just like, oh, how many cards are in your deck? Oh, 13. Mill you for 4, mill you for 4, mill you for 4. I win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you have to empty your hand, and if you do, it's like, fine, we'll both draw 4.
Yeah.
Next turn, mill you for 4. That card's really good. It gives you like an alternate win condition. Like I think the mill deck is kind of real. I think in draft especially.
Yeah.
Like there's just enough stuff that incidentally mills that if you just take it all, you'll have a good deck.
Right.
No surprise, like Bacon to a Pie is really good.
The black removal in general is really good, and the red removal is better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, the red removal, the one that like deals 5, it has adamant, deal 3 to the player. I didn't realize it was instant.
Yeah.
I got blown out a few times on Arena where I tried to like play a fight spell and then just got.
Yeah.
The 4/4 common wolf with trample makes a food is really good. Like it supports the food stuff.
Yep.
And it's just a big body that's good with out muscle or bear suplex.
I was pretty happy with Ginger Brute too.
Oh god, yeah. Ginger Brute is like effectively a 1/1 unblockable. And then people just put pants on him.
There's a lot of good pants in the set too.
Yeah, like, become a giant or
Rose Thorn hybrid, giant skewer.
Yeah, so you just are able to make him so he's like a relevant clock.
Yep.
And I lost a few games to just like Ginger Brute with pants. And a good sealed pool might have 6 pieces of removal.
Right.
And if you don't draw one of those 6, or you had to like spend it on something else, and then there's just a
Ginger Brute killing you.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, I'm at 4. I have 4 turns. I'm dying to this 1 mana 1/1.
Yeah.
I don't have any haste creatures in my deck on black green.
It's Slitherblade.
It is Slitherblade. I think that for me, I think black is probably the best color.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you've got the best removal, and like for the controlling strategies, you have foreboding fruit.
Yeah, cards are really good
to refill, and then the creatures are fine. Like a 2 mana 2/2 with like upside, and then I think I like pairing blue with it the most. But I had Lockmere Serpent both times, so I don't know how much it was just like Lockmere Serpent. But like Witches Well, like early to like fix your like land drops. And then late to kind of refill is super good.
Burst of cards.
Turn into a pumpkin is good. Like the fact that it like bounces a card and bounces something and draws a card. What is it? Unexplained Vision. 4 and a blue, draw 3, Adamant, scry 3. Yeah. That card is really good as well. The format's like slow enough with people like missing land drops or missing colors that like you can consistently cast it.
Yeah.
And then just like set up your draws for the rest of the game.
I know neither of us have drafted yet, but what do we think about the draft environment? A lot of times you can kind of draw some parallels from sealed to draft.
I watched Kenji draft like the sickest food deck imaginable. He like casted turn 3 7/7 with the magic beans or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I think that the adventure deck is probably going to be real.
Yeah,
the green-white
deck,
adventures.
The 1 mana green uncommon is great. So, pro tip, don't cast him on turn 1 unless you have like your adventure creature rolled up.
Right.
If you can do something like turn 2, play him, and then Flaxen Intruder to get your card.
Right.
Like, make sure you get paid before you like just run him out there to get him like killed with a 2 mana removal spell. Make sure you can get your card, like plan ahead. Lucky Clover, you just...
The card is gross.
You like annihilated me with it. Like I kept a hand game 2 that had an Embereth Shieldbreaker in it, and like it was there just for Lucky Clover.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not casting this until there's a Clover to blow up.
Yeah, I mean, if you can Clover into the Tree Folk and put 4 counters on your creatures, that's insane.
Yeah, you're like stupid 1 mana flyer, or like Guide Mother, make something big, attack, play Guide Mother, put 4 counters on it.
Yeah.
Also, I had to explain this to someone. If you play Animating Fairy, the adventure side, you can't double target your Clover.
Right, it's got to be two different targets
because it says
non-creature.
So the second half fizzles.
The same thing works with Giant Killer. Well, it kind of works with Giant Killer. So if you cast the Adventure of Giant Killer with a Lucky Clover out, the copy is going to resolve first.
Yeah, and then it kills the Giant Killer.
And then the Giant Killer is going to go to your graveyard because the original doesn't resolve. So you don't get to cast it for...
But like Lucky Clover is a May, correct? So you don't have to make a copy?
No. You may choose new targets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not a May.
Gotcha. So I might have messed that up because I was just like, yeah, you can't do that. But, yeah, I think the adventure deck is real. It seems like there's enough support there.
Mm-hmm.
I think blue-black control / blue-black mill is definitely like a reasonable archetype somewhere. Limited Nick is super excited for this.
Yeah, he's definitely going to cast some fairies.
Yeah. Those archetypes seem like they're well supported, like food, adventure, and just like a mill / like, blocking idiot strategy.
Yeah, I also think that Knights is probably deep enough to have like 2 people in Knights at a table.
Yeah, and you could definitely be like black-white Knights and red-black or red-white Knights.
Right. Like
have a split. I don't know. I guess the red, black, gold card is the Knight equipment.
Yeah.
Right, but you have the black-white Death Touch Knight and you have the
Night Lord.
The Night Lord
Yep.
in red-white. So, like, you could probably have 2 different Knight archetypes.
Yeah.
Like, drafted at your table. I think hardcore food can't support, like, 2 people.
Right.
But, like, I think that other than the removal, right, like, you could have a food drafter, a black-green food, and then, like, a blue-black control. But the problem is, like, you're fighting over the removal at that point.
Yeah.
You'd prefer, like, black-white knights and red-white or red-something knights.
Yeah.
Because then you get all the red removal if you're the red drafter. But I guess blue-green's just, like, blue-green big stuff.
Yeah, it's big. It's ramp.
And it's fine.
Yeah,
like,
it's okay.
Like, Beanstalk Giant, the fact that it doesn't have, like, any other text.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward.
Yeah, like, and there's enough, like, it seems like there's enough little creatures running around. Another thing that, like, you take for granted is, and I started to see this, the scry on the 1 black 2/3 knight seems super random, but the mana is so bad.
You need it.
It just lets you, like, dig to your lands or dig to the spells you can cast.
Yeah, every time I played black at almost every one of them, and every time I saw that stupid 2/3 scry 2 knight in my opening hand, I was super happy.
You're like, oh, I might actually get to, like, participate in this game now.
Yep.
It's like, I have swamp in this. I need to just rip another land, anything, and then, like, my hand works.
Yep.
I didn't expect that card to, like, matter.
Yeah.
But it seems to matter because they really want, and this is something to consider too when you're drafting, there might be, like, a black-white drafter, but there might be just a mono-black drafter.
Yeah.
Or, like, mono, or, 18 black cards, splash 5 of another color. I think there's going to be a lot of almost monocolor, if not monocolor decks.
Yeah, I mean, there's incentive for it, for
sure. Yeah, the rares are all multicolor, or all, like, color.
The lands want you to play one color.
And there's the hybrid cards.
Yeah.
That, right, if you're, blue-green, you can't play the
green-red one.
The green-red one, you just can't.
Right.
But it's super powerful, so maybe you skew yourself to be green with a little bit of blue, and, like, casting a 5/5 on turn 5 is still pretty good. Yeah, so I think that it's not going to be the traditional 2-color drafting. I think you're going to have at least 1 or 2 people in your pod that are just like...
monocolor.
Yeah, I opened Gadwick the Wizened, and he's blue, blue, blue. I'm blue.
Yeah.
Also, if you're drafting... and you open Gadwick the Wizened, and then in your next pack you open whatever the, like, black elf is. No, you can't do both.
Yeah, don't do it.
You got to pick one. If you're like, you know what, I was blue-black, and I think this is better than Gadwick, fine.
Yeah.
But you can't really play both.
No.
Gadwick's a little different, but, like, you can't play, like, the green guy and the black guy. You'll
Absolutely
never cast
not.
either of them.
No.
The number of games that I was like, oh, I have 1 swamp, and it's baked in a pie in my hand.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Super high.
So you think there's anything that we missed that might make its way into Standard?
I don't know offhand.
I mean, I know we talked about Garruk.
Yeah.
And I know that Planeswalkers are always super bomby and limited, but every time I saw a Garruk hit the battlefield, the game ended.
You weren't watching my games.
I wasn't watching your games.
I had to grind out a few Garruk games where I used the Malevolent Noble to sack my own wolves to get to the Garruk emblem, so then I could emblem and kill my opponent. That happened a few times where I was like, I'm going to die. I guess I need to, like...
That's pretty sweet, though.
Put an extra 30 power on the board and kill you. Yeah. So, yeah, like, having, like, the Noble plus Garruk gives you, like, a sack outlet.
Yeah. It just seemed like he, like, instantly stabilizes you.
Yeah.
And then, like, they can't make any progress. Like, unless they have a straight removal spell for Garruk, they can't make any progress towards getting Garruk off the board because he just stays big.
Yeah. I had an opponent play a Garruk and make 2 wolves, and I killed him in the air the next turn. Like, like, don't just, like, fall in love with make wolves.
Right.
Like, he needed to, like, kill a flyer.
Yeah.
Also, what was the other interaction? Oh, think about, like, the repercussions of killing a wolf.
Right.
Played a Garruk, played a wolf. They attacked it for, like, 3 or 4 in the air.
Yeah.
And then I attacked the next turn with wolves, and they blocked 1 wolf to kill it, and then they they could have just chumped the other wolf, but they blocked it as well.
Yeah.
And then I played a reach blocker, the spider, the 1/5.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't deal enough damage to kill my Garrick.
Right.
Because they gave it that 1 extra loyalty. So think about, like, maybe I take this 4 damage, or maybe I just jump, or I take the 2 so that I can definitely kill the Garrick.
Yeah.
Like, do that math in your head. Because it's weird. You don't usually think about, like, well, if I kill this creature, this planeswalker is going to get more loyalty. Like, that's not calculus you think of.
Yeah.
I think that's about it for pre-release. I don't know if there is anything else that might make...
Nothing you think might have slipped through the cracks?
No, nothing that... Well, I mean, there's the Dance in the Mance Doom Foretold deck, which I don't think either one of us saw coming at all.
No.
But that deck looks interesting. I'm definitely going to put it together. It's like right up my alley. I think I tweeted out a list, and then Brian Gottlieb won fandom on Wednesday with the list. He suggested some changes from his original list, but yeah, I don't think there's anything that, like, from pre-release that I feel like we super missed that I played and was like, oh wow.
All right.
Again, like Lockmere Serpent, but like that's just a control finisher, and like there are just better versions of that.
Right.
Arena time.
Yeah. What about Arena?
We already touched on this before. I think that once Star City gives us like the day 2 metagame, we'll start like figuring stuff out. I think it's important, especially early, to we're not going to be uniform, but in the like off meta stuff, make sure you kind of put what the deck
so we can track it.
So it can be like, oh, okay, there were like 15 people who played against black-red aggro, and we don't have that. Maybe we need to throw black-red aggro in as a deck. Or I know some people have like got at us and been like, hey, can you add deck X or Y?
Yeah.
And I've made that switch like the next week. So just be, if you're like seeing a lot of something,
let us know.
And like I can cycle something out.
Yep. And that'll be next week, right?
That'll be next week. So the Star City event will be this Saturday and Sunday. It's a team event. Yep. But they're probably going to spend most of their time on standard.
They always do.
And then like that Sunday, I'll make the list off of the day 2 metagame as best I can. Yep. And then we'll start it then.
Yep. So until then, you should hop on our Twitter and check out the sweet list Brian's been posting.
Yep, I will send some more stuff out that comes across.
And post up some of your own lists also.
Yeah. And then this is my seasonal new set ritual.
It's a great way to do it.
Which is play a bunch of sealeds.
Yep.
So my win rate was not great. I won a little over 50% of my matches. Now, strangely, the ideal way to do it is like win exactly 50%. Yeah. And just go 3-3. Like, again, like 2 threes, like just murder you. Yeah. 1 threes are even worse. I had one of those. But so I, again, put $50 in, and put in 100 and spent half. And that said, there should be enough for 5 sealeds. I got 11 out of it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So that plus... So that's 33 prize packs from just participating in the sealeds. Then the 9 packs from codes, from the arena codes, and then play Eldraine. Yeah. Capital P, capital E. Got me up to 42 packs, and then I save all my gold all season. Yeah. And so I cashed in enough gold, I think 118,000 gold, to open 160 packs.
That's a lot of packs.
I now have a complete playset of all the commons, uncommons, and rares.
That's awesome.
And I have a playset of Okos because I was like, yeah, he's good. So, and I have enough like mythic wild cards that I could like cobble together like any mythic that pops up that I want to play. Yeah. If you're willing to like spend $50 and you can like break even, like it gets you basically the whole set.
Yeah, and that's cool that you can save up your gold from that point on and blow it the next.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I basically just get my 4 wins every day because that's like 1,000 gold. Yeah, and then other random like challenges or dailies. Yep, that all adds up, and that's basically 110 to 130,000 gold each time. Yeah. So the only thing I did a little like tricksy is I did like about halfway through my sealeds, go and every uncommon I had like 3 of, I just like topped off to
Finish
4.
Your play set.
Just to get a little more vault progress.
Yeah.
So even doing all that and opening all those packs, I only got like 130% vault progress. Yeah. I had like 500%. So I had 5 redemptions. Now I have like 640 or 630. So even opening all those packs, it doesn't move you.
What are you saving vault redemptions for?
I like to keep track of how much I have. I don't need any of the wild cards. I have like 39 rare wild cards right now. And I have 16 mythic wild cards. Like if I need wild cards, I can like go in.
Yeah.
I saw Kenji doing it. Kenji like made it a game. He was up to like 1200% at one point.
Jeez.
watching that video today, I saw how many gems he had. I'm assuming it's a lot from winning.
Yeah.
512,000 gems.
Wow.
I was like, dear God, like you just like you can go super cold and never ever have to put any money into this game again.
Never ever.
You are now infinite. Congratulations. Also, if you've been playing, they sent out an email that gave you like your statistics, how many matches you've played, how many packs you'd opened, how much gold you had earned and stuff. I wish that was just a menu I could go click on in the game.
Look at,
Yeah, like I would totally look at that. But it was neat. It was neat to see like, I was like, oh, I've opened, I think it was like 810 packs or something.
709.
Yeah.
Mine was.
So like, I was like, oh, this is neat.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Also, like playing the Sealed Sun Arena, one, you get a sense of the format, right? So like I did pretty well at the Sealeds this weekend.
Yeah, because you had already played some.
I played so much.
Yeah.
But it is different, like the best of one format, where like my opponent went, turn 6 Garrick, turn 7 0 Garrick again, play Realm Cloak Giant.
Yeah.
Like the Wrath.
Woo.
And I was just like, well, maybe I could have won this match if that didn't happen all 3 games.
Right.
Well, if it happened in the second game, I wouldn't have won anyway. But if it doesn't happen again, but like it just ends.
Yeah.
So like, don't get discouraged if you don't like do great on the arena things, because like sometimes it's just like in this set you missed your second color and your opponent didn't.
Yeah, it happens in sets with no fixing.
Yeah. Now if you played like 4 of them and you missed like you're missing colors of mana all the time, maybe reevaluate how you're building your mana bases. But like I had a deck that went 5-3 that was great, but I lost to Mythic.
Yeah.
Mythic into Mythic.
Yeah.
And Mythic. And I was like, huh. So like if these were like matches, maybe like I lose the game to the Mythic, but then get the match.
Yeah.
So
don't see the Mythic or you have an answer. Or
something. So don't
get
like super discouraged if like it's just like, oh man, like they just like I just am getting crushed. Sometimes you just run bad in these best of one formats.
Yeah.
But if you can get like 3/3, that makes each sealed cost like 800. And if you can do that, that means you can play 12 on $50.
Right.
So like I had a couple 5/3s, but then I had a 2 2/3s and a 1/3.
Yeah.
Those
rough.
hurt you way more than like a 5/3, or like I had a 6/3 as well. Like then those help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely the way to go, I think. Because if you enjoyed the Sealed, which I had my moments, like I think towards the end I was enjoying it a little bit more because I had it figured out a little bit more.
I really liked exploring this set. And I'm not like I'm definitely a spike, but I was kind of enjoying the flavor of this set a little bit.
Yeah, it was neat.
It's kind of a different change of pace from like War of the Spark that we've had.
Yeah, it's definitely not the like
the doom and gloom.
Yeah, the big like world-ending event is coming, but like most Magic sets are. Like we go to like every plane just seems to be in turmoil.
Yeah.
This plane, like the story is more like
it's a fairy tale.
It's a little goofy, but also if you're into story, there's a TCG video series called Magic Arcanum.
Oh yeah,
with
it's
Ryan
really good.
Gomez.
Yeah.
And for this one, he's like, I read this book, so you didn't have to. I really took a bullet for all of you. But like, it's like here's the story in half an hour.
Yep.
And they've done like profiles in like Nissa and Chandra.
Yeah, he does a good job of condensing information and blasting it out there.
It's like, hey, here's 30 minutes, like a background. And I'm not super into the story, but like, I'm like, I enjoy you.
Yeah.
Bald man.
Yeah.
Let me click on you.
Yeah, he's entertaining.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely worth like a watch. Like it now just like the algorithm knows I will watch him. So when a new one comes up, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, it is different. The thing I didn't like was I felt like with in sealed with all the color cards.
Yeah.
Like if you opened 2 of them, you had to pick one to play.
Right.
We've been spoiled that you would get like maybe 2 dual lands in your color.
Right.
Or you would get 4 dual lands that like shared one of your colors, so you could kind of play like
whatever
a mishmash of like different things. And this is like, you've got swamps and you've got mountains. I hope you draw them in the right order and ratio.
Yeah.
I mean, we played a game that you lost because like you just kept saying, I need a red source.
Yep. And I had 6 black sources.
Yeah. And then I bounced your banner.
Yeah. I didn't have a red source.
Yeah. So, yeah, you just have games like that, and that's not super fun.
Yeah.
Which is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, like, the set was good. Like I said, when I settled into, like, I'm just going to try to draw as many cards as possible and fix my mana that way. Drawing cards is fun, and, like, it lets you do it. Like, and again, the scry cards are really powerful.
Yeah. More than they normally would be.
Yeah, just because you're like, oh, my God, like, these are 2 red cards. I got to throw these on the bottom and hope that this is a swamp. Like, I'm now 2 cards deeper to mountain.
Yeah.
So I can actually play this game.
So have we seen many trends yet for new standard? I know we mentioned a couple decks.
Again, like, the things that have, like, popped up is at the first Phantom tournament, a lot of people played, like, blue-green something.
Yeah.
So Oko and friends. So there was, like, a blue-green, like, food deck where, like, they were doing a Wicked Wolf. Where they just make it like a Flame Tongue Kava or a giant Chupacabra.
Yeah.
Because you have the foods, and Oko just is busted. And then they have like the Hydroid Crisis, like ramp payoff stuff.
Yeah.
There's the Dance of the Man's deck. A couple people played like red-black aggro, but as predicted, and then it was brought up when they were going over the when Arena deck list is going over all those deck lists. They were like, it's 4 Blood Crypts and then Swamps and Mountains.
Yeah.
Like, this mana is
tough.
like awful. Like, you can't actually play this as a deck.
Yeah.
Because, right, like, you need like Swamp into like your 2-drops are all red-black.
Yeah.
Your 1-drops are all black. Your 2-drops are red-black. And then your 3-drops are, some of them are 1 black.
Right.
And you're like, I can't do all of
the mana
this.
doesn't work.
People are super hyped for Mono Black.
Yeah.
Mono Black has like garbage 2-drops, but its 1-drops are really strong with like Knight of the Ebon Legion.
Yeah.
And then its 3-drops are kind of bonkers with Rotting Regisaur and Spawn of Mayhem.
Yeah.
So like there are people that are hyped for like a Mono Black like aggro deck. Like I said, the 2-drops are a little but it seems like people think that deck might have legs.
Yeah. Really big ones to go with tiny short arms.
Tiny short, yes, to stomp on things after you discard cards.
Yeah.
Mono green might be a thing. Yorvo and Questing Beast.
Yeah.
The problem is that deck and kind of mono black to some degree are held down by Dance of the Manse.
Yeah.
Because it's just Esper control and it's playing like 5 main board Wraths.
Yeah.
And then an extra Wrath in the board. Like if your goal is to play Green Idiot into Green Idiot into Green Idiot, you better hope that they are dead.
Yeah.
On turn 4, or they're going to just Kaya's Wrath you.
Yeah. And then you're going to be dead.
Yeah. And then you're just going to die like 17 turns later.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of a question of like which, like if one deck is good, I think another deck can't be good.
Yeah.
Same with like mono red. Like mono red is a thing. Like I saw a deck, I didn't tweet it out because how hype can you get for mono red? But it's just like the Cavalcade deck from the core 2020 standard.
Yeah.
I think they put in like Fervent Knight over one of the garbage 1-drops.
Okay.
And they play Angry Dwarf.
Yeah.
That deck I think runs into the same problem. Like
Right.
it needs a bunch of creatures, and if they get like swept.
Yeah.
Or the dance deck's like, well, I'm gonna get rid of Planar Cleansing in the main, and I'm gonna put in Cry of the Carnarium just to have like an earlier turn way to like
Witch's Vengeance.
Yeah, to kill a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Witch's Vengeance also good, right? I think you're in a bad spot there.
Yeah.
But I think early on that deck's probably really good
Mm-hmm.
because people are gonna be doing some like dumb, dirtly stuff.
Yep.
So I think those are the things I've seen laying around like that have come up.
Yeah, I think that about covers it.
Yeah, we were right in that. I think blue green big stuff.
Yeah.
might be one of the better decks.
Yeah.
And there might be a blue-green, like, mid-range Wicked Wolf deck.
Yeah.
Feasting Troll King is good if you cast it. It seems like the jury is out on, like, the reanimation part.
Yeah.
Like, just like a 7/6, they have to kill twice.
Yeah.
And there aren't really, I guess there's still Prison Realm, but there aren't a ton of, like, exile effects, at least right now, that are getting played. Like, I don't know if you're going to play the one in the black sorcery to exile something. I don't think that's standard playable.
Yeah.
So, like, if you play Troll King, they have to kill it twice.
People still play Conclave Tribunal?
Maybe. I haven't seen them. In the list that I've, like, seen, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Like, that's more of, like, a go-wide deck, and I don't know. I haven't seen a go-wide deck that's, like, white. Because, like, you know, you lost Benalish Marshall.
Right.
And Loxodon might be good enough, but it might not be.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. But, I mean, you do have, like, white, make 4 1/1s.
Yes.
Which might just be fine. And Sam Black is super hyped for green-white or green-black adventure. I think it's green-black.
Okay.
With the Innkeeper.
Oh, yeah.
Like Innkeeper, and then like you're just playing Murderous Riders and all the adventure stuff, and you're just drawing a million cards.
So did you see somebody posted, I don't remember if it was Facebook or Twitter, but somebody posted the Lucky Clover with the Spectre?
Oh, you just like mind twist them?
Yeah. 4 mana, discard 4.
That could be good.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was playing that, but he might, like, because he was talking about Lucky Clover being good as well.
Yeah, actually, I think that was on Reddit. I saw that on Reddit.
I don't know if it's powerful enough, but it might be. Like, Lucky Clover, like, if your adventure cards are, like, Murderous Rider, kill 2 things.
Yeah, that seems real good.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
PV played, like, 4-color wolves in the fandom event.
4-color wolves?
Black for Garrick, white for Tulsamir, blue for Oko.
Okay.
And then Wicked Wolf and
Nightpack
Ambusher. And he was like, maybe it should just be Bant. Like, Garrick might have been a step too far. But, like, you have all the wolf synergies with Tulsamir. Like, all your wolves just come in, gain you 3 life, and you fight.
Yeah.
Like, Mono Red can never beat that.
I had actually seen Abzan wolves drop in the blue.
Yeah, like, you could also do Abzan wolves with Garrick and just drop in. Like, if your Garrick becomes, like, +2... gain 6 life, kill a thing.
Yeah.
Put 2 like that only has to happen once.
Right.
And you probably win the game.
Yeah, then you win.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that there's a lot floating around.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think we talked about before, the standard moves super fast.
Yeah.
And like standard is going to be quote unquote solved to the best like 4 to 6 decks.
Mm-hmm.
Probably by the end of next week.
Probably.
Right, like I don't think anything in like from core 20 standard, like the actual like standard that we had, like I don't think after like July there was like a new deck.
It took a minute for
Cathos to show up. Like, that was the last one.
Yeah,
and but that was I think at the end of July, beginning of August. Like that was for the MCQ weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
And then it was just like, this is the format.
Yep.
So this is a significantly smaller set of cards.
Yeah.
So
way smaller. All right.
I think with that, we're probably done, right?
Yeah, that probably ties up Arena.
There's one more thing.
Yeah, we went around the store and we're picking up garbage and ended up with like 20 Arena codes out of the pre-release packs. So if any of you guys out there didn't make it to pre-release and want 6 packs of Throne, hit us up.
Yeah.
First come, first serve.
Yeah,
we don't have enough for everybody.
Tweet us, or probably better to DM, so we're not putting like a live code in your in the world.
Yep.
But we can send you the code, so that if you're someplace that you don't have access to like pre-release or something, but they're only 1 per account.
Yeah.
So if not, James would just have 60 packs of Throne on his computer right now.
Yeah, screw you guys. I'm going home.
Screw you guys. I'm going home. But yeah, so just hit us up. We'll try to help people out. I already sent one to our buddy Anthony because I know he didn't go to a pre-release. Yep. So and he's excited to get back into Throne of Eldraine or get back into Magic with Throne. So
that's cool.
Yep. If you want to give us suggestions or pump us for free packs, hit us up on a Casual Tripod on Twitter.
Yep. Casual Tryhard MTG on Facebook. Show at casualtryhardmtg.com. Or you can check our YouTube channel out, Casual Tryhard MTG. Probably the best way to get these codes is either Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah.
So.
Like just messaging us. That way it's like a private thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you email us, we'll also hook you up.
Yeah. It just might take a minute before we get there, and maybe they'd be gone by then. So.
Yeah. So just try to get at us because we don't need to keep these.
No.
So help some people out.
They're on the table directly above my trash can. So if nobody wants them, they will end up in the trash can.
Yeah. And I have a few to contribute. So.
Yeah. Like I said, we should have about 20 of them, so if anybody needs them or you got friends that want them or whatever, let us know.
Yep.
Glad to help out.
And with that, I think we'll catch you next time.
Yep, we'll catch you guys at FNM.